I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-ma-gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And this episode is dedicated to the most underrated guitar player ever, the amazing Criss Oliva. Yes, those of you that know. And those of you that don't, should know. If you're into guitar players, you need to check out Criss Oliva. Guy is amazing. And I've seen him a bunch of times. And I saw his very last show as well, but I'll get into that later. Just a little brief history on the man. He was born on April 3rd, 1963 in New Jersey. And Criss started playing bass till he heard Michael Schenker and Ritchie Blackmore. And when the family moved to Florida, his brother John and Criss started a band called Tower, where John played the drums and sang. And then later they changed it to Avatar, and this is back in 1978, where John came out from behind the drums and he was playing bass and singing, and then, eventually just became the singer. And right before they were to release their first release, they changed the name Avatar because there was a lot of bands with that name. So they changed it to Savatage. And I think that's an awesome name because, man, I even said it when I was in a band. I said, man, it'd be cool if you write your name, your band name in Google, and that's the only thing that'll show up. Because I was in a band called Combat. And you go on Google for Combat, you'll find Road Spray and, Combat, Dr. Fuck with Sammy Hagar type thing, Sammy Belcher, I mean. Anyway, so they changed to Savatage, man. And man, that EP, the Dungeons Are Calling right out the gate, fucking amazing. And then there was Sirens. Oh my God, the first Savatage album, man, probably my second favorite. It's so many killer songs in it. And then they got signed to a major label and they released another killer album called Power of the Night. And then they followed that up with record company pressure. And they released not too good of an album, Fight for the Rock. Not a fan. Though there is one classic on there called Hyde, which is about Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That song rules on that album. And I dug Edge of Midnight, and also I liked Lady in Disguise, even though that doesn't sound nothing like Savatage. It sounds like the Beatles, But I really dug it, but whatever. I just like the song. But anyway, Fight for the Rock, Disappointment, and then, I don't know, Atlantic let them do their thing. And they did what I consider their best album, Hall of the Mountain King. See, Hall of the Mountain King is a gateway into different, like, orchestral music, but it still had that edge from, Dungeons, Sirens, and Power of the Night. It had that metallic edge. And I liked how it composed, like both got together. I think later, even though I like it, not as much as this, and the reason I don't like the later albums as much as All the Mountain King is because they did go a little overboard here and there with the orchestra shit, and kind of like, some of the metal was gone. Not all of it, because that even on Streets you could hear some of that siren stuff, on certain songs, but it was just an amazing band. And Savatage came down here. I live in South Florida. So much back in the day. And I recently had an argument with some guy online that just, I don't know, some people just love to argue for no reason. Where I brought up the fact that Savatage is going to reunite now. And they're going to play a bunch of shows. And I explained to people that not one person in the first time I saw Savatage, not one damn person is in that lineup that they have. Everybody's different, you know? Yes, I saw him with Keith Collins. A lot of people, you know, there was one guy starting an argument. Yeah, you didn't see him with Johnny Lee Middleton. I mean, you saw him with Johnny Lee Middleton. That ain't the original lineup. I'm like, dude, Keith Collins. I saw him with Keith Collins, all right? Once I saw him with Keith Collins. But no, I mean, the original lineup was John Oliva, Criss Oliva, Keith Collins, and Steve, Dr. Killdrone's Wackles. None of those people are in Savatage today. Am I bashing it? No, I'm just bringing up a damn fact. But the reason I bring that up, people get offended by I guess, the truth. But me, man, look, nobody in that band is Savatage, but they're out there playing Criss Oliva's music. How can I dump on that? Am I excited to see it? Hell no. I saw Savatage. But man, if I never saw Savatage, I would love to go see that tribute band. You know, but that's what it is. I'm sorry, it's a fucking tribute band, but it's cool, man. I dig it. I'm telling you, man. Like, I'll give you a great example. Thin Lizzy. I never got to see Thin Lizzy, but I saw a kick-ass tribute band that had John Sykes on vocals, Tommy Aldridge, you know, Scott Gorham, Mark Mendoza. Great show, but it was a tribute band, and it's no different than this. But anyway, let's get back to Savatage. Gutter Ballet, man, some of it I love. She Is Love is amazing. Mentally Yours, At Rage of War, and I even like the title track. And you know, there's other ones on there, Hounds, and the bonus track, Dorsey Shuffle. It's good shit. It's just not No Hall of Mountain King. And then they released Streets after that, which it really went drastic on that one. And it's a concept album, but and it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. The song Believe. But then there's songs on there like what's the name of that song? Agony Ecstasy. That could have fit on Sirens or Dungeons, you know, stuff like that. And Sammy and Tex was very Van Halen. Tonight He Grins Again is a killer moody track. I could go on and on. Jesus Saves. And then Edge of Thorns. There they got, and I know why this happened. I mean, you don't even have to tell me this. But John Oliva's out of the band now. They bring this guy, Zach Stevens. Because John Oliva, you know, he's heavy. So they thought, let's get a skinny, good-looking dude to sing for the band. And we can get bigger that way. Which, you know, didn't happen because, you know, music was shifting really fast at the time with grunge and stuff. Though it's a good album. It's not a bad album. Now, I still went to go see Savatage, and I saw this tour, Edge of Thorns tour. And, man, I'll never forget it, man. It just blows my mind. See, I met Criss one time before, and he was shy, and hey, I was too, kind of. I was like, wow. And I had him sign my CDs with a ballpoint pen, by the way. And then the second time I met him was at Edge of Thorns tour, and holy crap, it was like a totally different person. He was very alive. He hasn't shaved. He had stubble, and he was like, you know, just very alive and very talkative. And I even said to him, I go, you know, Criss, you probably hear this all the time, but I really do think you're like one of the greatest guitar players. And he goes, yeah, you're just saying that because you're meeting me. But in a sarcastic way. And then, you know, he hit my shoulder and laughed and said, thanks, you know. And we talked for a little bit. And then that night, when they played, man, at the very end, when they were leaving the stage, Criss, I've never seen him do this before. I've seen Savatage at least 10 times before this. Right before they leave the stage, Criss grabs the microphone and yells at everybody, thanks for coming out, motherfuckers, this and that. And I was like, damn, man, Criss is really animated. Where before he was like, you know, chill, dude. But anyway, that was a Friday night, that show. The following Sunday, I'll never forget this, man. I'm laying in bed watching The Simpsons, and I get a phone call from my friend Carlos Guti, who me and Carlos went to that Savatage show together. And he let me know. He said, hey, man, Criss Oliva was just killed in a car crash. And I was like, what? I mean, that shit like that is like so unexpected, and your brain can't really grasp to it, because I was just talking to the guy. He can't be dead. And he was so alive. God damn. I mean, that fucking fucked me up, man. I was like, damn, man. And you know it's really messed up? This is what gets me. He was killed by a drunk driver. Yeah, some drunk asshole went over the median, hit him head on, and Chris's wife was in the car, Dawn, but she survived. Criss died immediately, right? This drunk driver had seven DUIs before this happened. 7 of them. And then, you know, they take him to court and everything. They give him 5 years in prison, which I don't think is long enough. But guess what? He only did 18 months. That's it. He didn't even do the 5 years. Drunk asshole. You know? Once you get caught once, you know, and you get caught the second time, I'll forgive the first time. Shit, even I was stupid enough to drink drive when I was younger, you know. But you know, when I lost somebody extremely important in my life to a drunk driver, it was 2 years before John was killed by a drunk driver. I had somebody very close to me die, and that fucked me up. And I would never even think of drinking. Well, I don't even drink anymore, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's a fucking shame, man, that, you know, he died because of some guy that got caught with a DUI 7 times before that. Fucking crazy, man. Anyway, that happened in October 17th of 1993, which made Criss Oliva 30 years old at the time. And what a loss. What a loss. Savatage did carry on with a few albums that were good. A handful of rain, but man, I mean, they had like Taunting Cobras rules, the title track, Chance. That's it. I think there may be another song I liked off that album. And Wake of Magellan had a couple songs, but it was just way too proggy by that point. And then the last one, Poets and Madmen. It's like whatever. Give me anything from the first album, take out Fight for the Rock, and all the way up the Streets. But man, Hall of Mountain King and Sirens, that's the top tier stuff. To all you out there that are listening to me now and are not aware of what I'm talking about, and you love the guitar, do yourself a favor and check out Criss Oliva's work. The guy was a genius, an underrated genius that had this special ability to play guitar for it to match the vocals. Not many people have that talent. He did, and the vocals was his brother. So yeah, there you go, man. My tribute to Criss Oliva on The Only News That Matters, because the man needs to be talked about. He's not talked about enough. It's a damn shame, man. So thank you all for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and ring that little notification bell. I totally would appreciate that. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Criss Oliva. Rest in peace. And smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.